Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtipraisha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 13th chapter, Dhritarashtra quits home. Text number 2 onwards. Yavatah kritvan prashnan kshatta kosharavagrataha jatek bhaktir govinde tebhyoscho pararamha. After asking various questions and becoming established in the transcendental loving service of Lord Krishna, Vidura retired from putting questions to Maitreya Muni. So, in the previous verse, we read that he went to the pilgrimage and he asked so many questions to Maitreya Muni. So, after he was established in the transcendental loving service, he retired from putting questions to Maitreya Muni. Vidura retired from putting questions before Maitreya Muni when he was convinced by Maitreya Rishi that the summum bonum of life is to be finally situated in the transcendental loving service of Lord Sri Krishna, who is Govinda, or one who satisfies his devotees in all respects. The conditioned soul, the living being in material existence, seeks happiness by employing his senses in the modes of materialism, but that cannot give him satisfaction. He then searches after the supreme truth by empiric knowledge, speculative method, and intellectual feats. But if it does not find the ultimate goal, he again goes down to material activities and engages himself in various philanthropic and altruistic work, which all fail to give him satisfaction. So, even philanthropic work, altruistic work, or speculative methods, forget about materialism, that never gives happiness, complete happiness, or satisfaction to the soul. So only because by nature a living being is the eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, and all the Vedic literatures give him direction towards that ultimate end. So Prabhupada later writing, like Vidura, an inquisitive conditioned soul must approach a bona fide spiritual master like Maitreya, and by intelligent inquiries must try to know everything about karma, jnana, and yoga. So one has to be serious, one has to ask, humbly put questions across the spiritual master, and then follow his guidance. So just like Vidurji, it is said that he got the ultimate goal of life, bhakti unto Govinda. Thus there was nothing to be known further about spiritual progress. Text 3 and 4. Tam bandhum agatam drishtva dharmputra sahanuja dhritarashtra yuyitsuscha sutah sharadvatah pritha Gandhari Draupadi Brahman Subhadra Chautaro Kripi Anyascha Jamaya Pandur Gyateha Sasutah Striyaha. When they saw Vidura return to the palace, all the inhabitants, Maharaj Yudhishthira, his younger brothers, Dhritarashtra, Satyaki, Sanjay, Kripacharya, Kunti, Gandhari, Draupadi, Subhadra, Uttara, Kripi, many other wives of Kauravas, and other ladies with children, all hurried to him in great delight. It so appeared that they had regained their consciousness after a long period. Now, Prabhupada will give synopsis of different characters mentioned in this verse. So, first one is Gandhari, the ideal chaste lady in the history of the world. She was the daughter of Maharaj Subal, the king of Gandhar, now Kandahar in Kabul. And in her maiden state, she worshipped Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is generally worshipped by Hindu maidens to get a good husband. Gandhari satisfied Lord Shiva, and by his benediction, to obtain 100 sons, she was betrothed to Dhritarashtra, despite his being blind forever. In fact, this was the point when Shakuni, Gandhari's brother, he got angry with Bhishma. The Bhishma Dev had gone to Kandahar to ask for Gandhari's hand for Dhritarashtra. When he went there, Shakuni knew that Dhritarashtra is blind, and he got so upset with Bhishma Dev. Why did he bring a blind man's uh, relationship offer for my sister? And because of that, he took so much of revenge. He came with his sister to Hastinapur after marriage, and he never went back. His whole idea was to, I'm going to destroy this whole dynasty. But on the other side, when Gandhari came to know that her would-be husband was a blind man, to follow her life companion, she decided to become voluntarily blind. So she wrapped up her eyes with many silk linens, and she was married to Dhritarashtra under the guidance of her elder brother Shakuni. So she was such a chaste and austere lady that when she came to know that her husband, would-be husband, is blind, so she, I mean, closed her eyes. She tied up this so many ties on the eyes. She was the most beautiful girl of her time, and she was equally qualified by her womanly qualities, which endeared every member of the corps of court. But despite all her good qualities, she had the natural frailties of a woman, and she was envious of Kunti when the latter gave birth to a male child. So Kunti Devi, the story goes like this: Kunti and Pandu Maharaj, and another wife of Pandu, Madri, they had gone to a forest, and somehow Pandu Maharaj got cursed by a rishi that if he ever goes for a union with his wife, he would die. So somehow in that forest, Pandu Maharaj um, got attracted to his wife Madri in that mood, and he went to for that union. So he died. But before that, because Pandu Maharaj, as I said yesterday, he was very sickly person, so he could not perform all the duties properly. Although he was a king, so so Pandu Maharaj, he because he knew Kunti Devi has this boon from sun god before her marriage, that any demigod she can ask for, and the demigod would come, and she can ask anything from the demigod. So before her marriage, she had asked for sun god. Okay, sun. The boon was given, I think, by Durvasa Rishi, and she had asked for sun god to come. When sun god appeared, so sun god gave her the son Karna before marriage, and Kunti Devi got very scared that how come a virgin girl having a son. So she let the child go. But then when Pandu Maharaj was sick, and he got this curse from this rishi, so he said he knew that he could not have son, so he asked Kunti to get different demigods. So first demigod she asked for was Dharmaraj himself. So he came and he gave her the son Yudhishthir. Second demigod she called for was wind god, and he came and he gave her the son Bhim. Then third she called for was Indra. Indra came and he gave her the son Arjun. But then Madri was standing nearby, and Madri also wanted to have sons. So Kunti Devi asked for Ashwini Kumars, and they both came, and they gave two sons to Madri, Nakul and Satya. And afterwards, Pandu Maharaj, somehow he developed this desire to have union with Madri, and he went for the union, and then he died. And Madri went and became Sati along with Pandu Maharaj. But Kunti Devi was left with five sons. But this son of Kunti, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was born before Duryodhan. So when Gandhari found out that Kunti was pregnant and she had given birth, she was pregnant or given, I think she was only pregnant. Then, and that pregnancy, it was before Gandhari. So Gandhari was, she had this quality. Then she was envious. So what did she do? Both the queens were pregnant, but Kunti first gave birth to a male child. Thus Gandhari became angry and gave a blow to her own abdomen. So she hit her own abdomen. As a result, she gave birth to a lump of flesh only. So it was kind of abortion was done. But lump of flesh. But since she was a devotee of Vyasadeva, by the instruction of Vyasadeva, the lump was divided into 100 parts. And each part, actually, it is said someplace that Vyasadeva then told Gandhari to cut up the lump in 100 parts, and each part was kept in a different pot for 9 months. So that was the starting of test tube babies, actually. So in the pot, after 9 months, every lump they became a baby. That is so much of potency of Vyasadeva. So that's how she got 100 sons. Lump was divided into 100 parts, and each part gradually developed to become a male child. Thus, her ambition to become the mother of 100 sons was fulfilled, and she began to nourish all the children according to her exalted position. When the intrigue or battle of Kurukshetra was going on, she was not in favor of fighting with the Pandavas. Rather, she blamed Dhritarashtra, her husband, for such a fratricidal war. She desired that the state be divided into two parts, for the sons of Pandu and her own. She was very affected when all her sons died in the battle of Kurukshetra, and she wanted to curse Bhimsen and Yudhishthira, because Bhimsen was the one who actually killed all the 100 sons of Gandhari. He did not only kill Duryodhan and Dushasan, he was the one who killed all the 100 sons. So Gandhari was very upset. In fact, Dhritarashtra was also upset. And Dhritarashtra tried to kill Bhimsen also. But Krishna protected him. So she wanted to curse Bhimsen and Yudhishthira, but she was checked by Vyasadeva. Her mourning over the death of Duryodhan and Dushasan before Lord Shri Krishna was very pitiful. And Lord Shri Krishna pacified her by transcendental messages. She was equally aggrieved on the death of Karna, and she described to Lord Krishna the lamentation of Karna's wife. She was pacified by Srila Vyasadeva when he showed her dead sons, then promoted to the heavenly kingdoms. So Vyasadeva showed her that all your sons are gone to the heavenly kingdom. So she died along with her husband in the jungles of the Himalayas in the mouth of Ganges. She burned in a forest fire. Maharaj Yudhishthira performed the death ceremony of his uncle and aunt. So little synopsis of Gandhari, although she was wonderful and very great character in this epic Mahabharata. Pritha or Kunti. Pritha, daughter of Maharaj Shursena and sister of Vasudev, Lord Krishna's father. Later, she was adopted by Maharaj Kunti Bhoj. So Kunti Bhoj Maharaj was friend of Maharaj Shursena. And because he didn't have a daughter, Shursena said, okay, now you take this girl of mine and you raise her as your daughter. So then that's why her name was, because that was Maharaj Kunti Bhoj, so she got the name Kunti from that. She is an incarnation of the success potency of the personality of Godhead. The heavenly denizens from the upper planets used to visit the palace of King Kunti Bhoja, and Kunti was engaged for their reception. Yeah, so now here the story comes. She also served the great mystic sage Durvasa, and being satisfied by her faithful service, Durvasa Muni gave her a mantra by which it was possible for her to call for any demigod she pleased. As a matter of inquisitiveness, she at once called for the sun god, who desired couplement with her, but she declined. But the sun god assured her immunity from virgin adulteration, and so she agreed to his proposal. As a result of his couplement, she became pregnant, and Karna was born by her. By the grace of the sun, she again turned into a virgin girl. But being afraid of her parents, she quitted the newly born child Karna. And after that, when she actually selected her own husband, she preferred Pandu to be her husband. Maharaj Pandu later wanted to retire from family life and adopt a renounced order of life. Kunti refused to allow her husband to adopt such life, but at last Maharaj Pandu gave her permission to become a mother of sons by calling some other suitable personalities. Kunti did not accept this proposal at first, but when vivid examples were set by Pandu, she agreed. Thus, by dint of the mantra awarded by Durvasa Muni, she called for Dharmaraj, and thus Yudhishthira was born. She called for the demigod Vayu, and thus Bhima was born. She called for Indra, king of heaven, and thus Arjun was born. The other two sons, namely Nakul and Sahadev, were begotten by Pandu himself in the womb of Madri. If purposely begotten by Pandu, but some other place it is said they born from Ashwini Kumars. Later on, Maharaj Pandu died at an early age, for which Kunti was so aggrieved that she fainted. Two co-wives, namely Kunti and Madri, decided that Kunti should live for the maintenance of 5 minor children, the Pandavas, and Madri should accept the sati rituals by meeting voluntarily death along with her husband. This agreement was endorsed by great sages like Shatshringa and others present on the occasion. So this sati system, it wasn't that the lady was forced to immolate herself along with her husband. She would do it voluntarily, and only when she had no sons to look after. So since she gave her two kids to Kunti, so Madri did this, went through the sati ritual. So later on, when the Pandavas were banished from the kingdom by the intrigues of Duryodhan, Kunti followed her sons, and she actually equally faced all sorts of difficulties during those days. During the forest fire, one demon girl, Hidimba, wanted Bhima as her husband. Bhima refused. But when the girl approached Kunti and Yudhishthira, they ordered Bhima to accept her proposal and give her a son. As a result of this combination, Ghatotkacha was born, and he fought very valiantly with his father against the Kauravas. In their forest life, they lived with the Brahmin family that was in trouble because of one Bakasur demon, and Kunti ordered Bhima to kill the Bakasur to protect the Brahmin family against troubles created by the demon. So again, this was a wonderful story. When these 5 brothers, they were in the forest with Mother Kunti. Actually, this happened after Duryodhan tried to kill Pandavas by burning them alive in the palace of lac, made of lac. But somehow they escaped because of Vidurji's help. So they went to so many villages. So this village is Ekchakra Gram, and that happens to be in near Mayapur in Navdvip. So in Ekchakra Gram, so all these 5 brothers and Kunti, they were living as a guest in some Brahman's family's house. And there was this demon Bakasur in the forest, and they had a pact with the demon. The villagers had a pact that every day they would send one person from one family on a cart, and the cart would be full of all the different kinds of food items. And the deal was Bakasur could eat all the food items. He could eat the bulls driving the cart, and he would eat the driver. But he would leave the rest of the village alone. He would come and disturb. So that day, it was a turn of this Brahman family. So they had only one son. And this Brahmani, the mother, she was very much aggrieved. Oh, what will happen? I have only one son. And so Queen Kunti approached to her, and she said, well, I have 5 sons, so it's okay if I give one son away. It's okay. Although she knew, Kunti knew the strength of Bhima. And Bhima also was agreeing to the proposal. Why? Because all the five brothers would go out for begging because they were acting as Brahmins. So when they come back after begging, whatever alms they would get, so Mother Kunti would take all the alms, and she would divide them in five parts, and not not sorry, not sorry, five parts, two parts. So one part would go to Bhima, and rest of the one part would be shared by all the five people, four brothers and Queen Kunti. But Bhima, as we know, he would not be satisfied with whatever food he was getting. So he liked the idea of driving the cart that would be full of food to this demon Vrikasura or Bakasura. So it is explained in Mahabharata that while driving the cart to the cave of Bakasura, Bhima ate all the food that was on the cart. And while he reached the door of the cave, he was eating the last watermelon. So Bakasur came out, hearing the noise, and he saw the whole cart was empty. Bhima had eaten everything, and he was eating the last watermelon. And Bakasur got so angry. He said, "How dare you eat my food?" And it is said, Bhima, while eating the watermelon, in with one hand he killed Bakasur. That's how strong Bhima was. So then, when he killed Bakasur and he came back, everybody was happy. But this is the strength of Bhima. It is explained. So she advised Yudhishthir to start for the Panchal Desh. So after that, they went to Panchal Desh, where Arjun won Draupadi's hand, and they all married Draupadi. Draupadi was gained in this Panchal Desh by Arjun, but by order of Kunti, all five of the Pandavas brothers became equally the husbands of Panchali or Draupadi. She was married with five Pandavas in the presence of Vyasadeva. Kunti never forgot her first child, Karna, and after Karna's death in the battle of Kurukshetra, she admitted before her sons that Karna was her elder son prior to her marriage with Maharaj Pandu. And actually, this is when the story goes like that. Maharaj Yudhishthira found out after Karna died, Kunti revealed this that he was her eldest son, elder to even Yudhishthira Maharaj. So when Yudhishthira Maharaj heard that, he lamented so much. He said, "If you had told me Karna was my elder brother, I would have happily given the kingdom to Karna. And even Duryodhan wouldn't have mind Karna's Karna be the king. So they wouldn't have been in such a big war." So then Yudhishthira Maharaj cursed all the ladies that they would never be able to keep a secret in their heart. So, so that's why. So no ladies can keep any secret, especially when you tell them, "Oh, you should keep this as a secret." That they definitely have to make sure that they go and tell somebody else. Her prayers for the Lord after the battle of Kurukshetra, when Lord Krishna was going back home, are excellently explained. So we went through this whole chapter of prayers by Queen Kunti. Later, she went to the forest with Gandhari for severe penance. She used to take meals after each 30 days. So once in a month, she used to eat in the forest. She finally sat down in profound meditation and later burned to ashes in a forest fire. So, along with Dhritarashtra, Gandhari and Queen Kunti also went to the forest. Okay, now there are so many other, well, Draupadi and Subhadra, two are there. So we'll go with Draupadi. The most chaste daughter of Maharaj Drupad and partly an incarnation of goddess Shachi, the wife of Indra. Maharaj Drupad performed a great sacrifice under the superintendence of the sage Yaja. By his first offering, Drishtadyumna was born, and the second offering, Draupadi was born. She is therefore the sister of Drishtadyumna, and she is also named Panchali. The five Pandavas married her as a common wife, and each of them begot a son in her. Maharaj Yudhishthir begot a son named Pratibhit, Bhimsen begot a son named Sutasoma, Arjun begot Shrutakirti, Nakul begot Shatanik, and Sahadev begot Shrutakarma. She is described as a most beautiful lady, equal to her mother-in-law Kunti. During her birth, there was an arrow message that she would be called Krishna with a long A. The same message also declared that she was born to kill many a Kshatriya. So why she was called Krishna? Because she was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. By dint of her blessings from Shankar, she was awarded 5 husbands, equally qualified. And actually, this had happened in her previous lifetime, or previous Leela, I would say. She worshipped Lord Shiva and she asked for a husband with 5 different qualities. Lord Shiva appeared and he said, they cannot be, either it is going to be the Supreme Lord himself who has all these 5 qualities, but in normal human beings, all these 5 qualities cannot be, are not possible in one person. So they are only possible in 5 different people. So that's why she was given this boon that she would marry 5 husbands. She would have 5 husbands. When she preferred to select her own husband, princes and kings were invited from all the countries of the world. She was married with Pandavas during their exile in the forest, but when they went back home, Maharaj Drupad gave them immense wealth as a dowry. She was well received by all the daughters-in-law of Dhritarashtra. When she was lost in a gambling game, she was forcibly dragged into the assembly hall, and an attempt was made by Dushasan to see her naked beauty, even though there were elderly persons like Bhishma and Drona present. She was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, and by her praying, the Lord himself became an unlimited garment to save her from the insult. A demon of the name Jatasura kidnapped her, but her second husband Bhimsen killed the demon and saved her. She saved the Pandavas from the curse of Maharshi Durvasa by the grace of Lord Krishna. When the Pandavas lived incognito in the palace of Virat, Kichak was attracted by her exquisite beauty, and by arrangement with Bhima, the devil was killed and she was saved. She was very much aggrieved when the 5 sons were killed by Ashwatthama. At the last stage, she accompanied her husband Yudhishthir and others and fell on the way. The cause of her falling was explained by Yudhishthir, but when Yudhishthir entered the heavenly planet, he saw Draupadi gloriously present there as a goddess of fortune in the heavenly planet. So why she fell on the way? Because she had attraction for Arjun more than rest of the Pandavas. So she was attached. So Subhadra, daughter of Vasudeva and sister of Lord Shri Krishna. She was not only a very dear daughter of Vasudeva, but also a very dear sister to both Krishna and Baladeva. The 2 brothers and sister are represented in the famous Jagannath temple of Puri, and the temple is still visited by thousands of pilgrims daily. This temple is in remembrance of the Lord's visit at Kurukshetra during an occasion of solar eclipse and his subsequent meeting with the residents of Vrindavan. The meeting of Radha and Krishna during this occasion is a very pathetic story, and Lord Shri Chaitanya, in the ecstasy of Radharani, always pined for Lord Shri Krishna at Jagannath Puri. While Arjun was at Dwarka, he wanted to have Subhadra as his queen, and he expressed his desire to Lord Krishna. Shri Krishna knew that his elder brother, Lord Baldev, was arranging her marriage elsewhere. Actually, not elsewhere, but with Duryodhan. So Balramji wanted Subhadra to marry Duryodhan. And since he did not dare to go against the arrangement of Baldev, he advised Arjun to kidnap Subhadra. So when all of them were on a pleasure trip on the Ravat hill, Arjun managed to kidnap Subhadra according to the plan of Shri Krishna. Shri Baldev was very angry at Arjun and he wanted to kill him, but Lord Shri Krishna implored his brother to excuse Arjun. Then Subhadra was duly married with Arjun and Abhimanyu was born of Subhadra. At the premature death of Abhimanyu, Subhadra was very mortified. But on the birth of Parikshit, she was happy and solaced. So Arjun's marriage with Subhadra, that was again also a very wonderful story. Uh, I don't think we have time today. So should we stop here or should I tell you the story very fast? See, Krishna makes all these arrangements actually. So there was a deal among all the five Pandav brothers. So they all had 1 month with Draupadi, and Draupadi would stay 1 month at a time with one brother in a sequence in the palace, in their palace. So the deal was when she is with one brother, rest of the four should not go and disturb them. So fine, deal was made. So one day, that month was Yudhishthir Maharaj was going to be with Draupadi. So he was with Draupadi. And before that, somehow Arjun was with Draupadi. So one Brahman came and he said, some people are stealing my cows. And he asked Arjun to protect my cows, protect his cows. Arjun said, okay, but then he looked for his bow, Gandhi, but Gandhi was kept inside that palace of Draupadi at that time. So Arjun said, I cannot go and protect your cows right now because I don't have my bow. And Brahman started crying and he was starting abusing Arjun. What kind of Kshatriya you are? You cannot even go and protect my cows? What nonsense you are. You're not even a Kshatriya. You give up your bow and whatever he had to say. So Arjun got really angry. So in that anger, he entered the palace of Draupadi and while Yudhishthira Maharaj was there to pick up the bow. So the deal was, if you enter the palace, then you have to go for exile for, I don't know how many, maybe a year or so, maybe 6 months. I don't remember exactly how long. So Arjun said, fine, I'll follow that. But Yudhishthira tried to stop him. Yudhishthira said, you did not enter. You entered just to protect the cows of the Brahman. So do not worry about the deal. Arjun said, no, the deal was done. I'll go. So Arjun went. First he saved the Brahman's cows and then he went for exile. So on the way, he went to many states, many kingdoms, and he married many girls, many princesses over there. Like he went to Manipur also at that time, and it is said that he married this princess of Manipur. Somehow I'm forgetting her name, and that's why it is said the people of Manipur and they are still Vaishnavas because they are all descendants of Arjun. So while roaming, he came to Dwarka. Now Dwarka, he wanted to enter Dwarka, but Krishna sent him a message because Krishna knew, and that was the beginning of Chaturmas was going to happen, and Arjun was in the form of not as a king but as a mendicant. So he had all the big beard and long hair, and he was wearing the robes. So Krishna sent him a message that you don't come to the palace of Dwarka. You don't come as a Arjun. You come as a mendicant and you go to the palace of Balramji. Now, why Balramji? Because Chaturmas was starting and Balramji was very uh, charitable towards the sadhus for 4 months, and he was going to receive the sadhus and feed them every day, take care of them. So Shri Krishna told Arjun, you go there and live for 4 months over there and enjoy the hospitality. And actually the plan was because Subhadra would come every day over there to serve all the sadhus. So Arjun, when he saw Subhadra, and Subhadra, when he saw Arjun, although Arjun was in the form of a sadhu, they got attracted to each other. And Krishna knew that Balramji wanted Subhadra to marry Duryodhan because Duryodhan was his very dear disciple, and Krishna wanted to stop that. So Krishna made this arrangement. Arjun got attracted to Subhadra, and Subhadra got attracted to Arjun. So when Krishna, one day he went to Subhadra and he knew what is happening. So he told Subhadra that if you want to marry that sadhu, who's actually Arjun, you better go and worship Devi on the Revat hill on this day. And he made all the plan that Arjun will come and kidnap you. But he told Subhadra that when he kidnaps you, you better be the charioteer. You better drive the chariot afterwards. So Subhadra agreed. So Arjun went when the whole family was going on the Revat hill, and Arjun kidnapped Subhadra. But there was no kidnap, actually. Subhadra knew there was no force involved. And Subhadra sat on the chariot of Arjun, and she drove the chariot away. And later Balramji, when he found out, he was very angry, very angry that how could Arjun come in here and kidnap our sister. So they all were ready to go and attack Arjun. But Krishna, he was in the meeting and he was the only one who opposed it. So then Krishna said, well, what I have heard, that it wasn't Arjun who kidnapped Subhadra, it was Subhadra who was driving the chariot. So she kidnapped Arjun actually. So he made the whole story go other way around, and then he asks everybody. So Arjun is on the way to Hastinapur from here, and before he reaches Hastinapur, we should all go and accept for this marriage, and properly see our sister off. So that's how this marriage took place. Although Balramji was angry, but then he was happy. At least it was Arjun who married Subhadra. But Krishna had to play so many games in all this Mahabharata to set everything right. And well, if Krishna is on the side, then the devotees have nothing to be afraid of. So anyway, I'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Thank you so much
for a
Thank you,
very
Mantra.
observing person.
All the pastimes are wonderful.
Yeah. Really, we could not take our attention off.
No, nothing was. It was all okay. Chalo, I guess you all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.
Hare Krishna.